Well, the award celebrations continue, and we're going back to the Carl N. Becker Award. And as you remember, this is the award given in recognition of excellence and achievement in managing the natural resources of reserves, parks, wilderness, and other protected areas. So to that effect, it's no secret that our next recipient is one of Indiana's greatest champion for natural areas. The recipient of the 2022 Carl N. Becker Stewardship Award is Ellen Jacquart. Over an impactful career spanning more than 40 years, Ellen has poured her energy, passion, heart, and soul into the restoration and stewardship of natural areas in her home state of Indiana. From helping start the Central Indiana Land Trust to serving as a botanist with the Forest Service and directing stewardship with the Nature Conservancy, and in continuing to serve after retirement as director of the Indiana Native Plant Society. She really has done it all. There are some highlights in this incredible career as an iconic natural area steward and conservation leader in the Hoosier State. During her 4-decade career, Ellen has been a champion of natural areas protection, restoration, and stewardship, both in the public and private sectors. Early in her career, she spearheaded the creation of the Central Indiana Land Trust, serving as this young organization's first board president. Since then, SILTI, as the land trust is known, has protected more than 6,500 acres of natural areas. As a botanist with the U.S. Forest Service, she influenced a major increase on the Wayne Hoosier National Forest's controlled burning program. She also saw a need for native seeds in national forest restoration work and facilitated startup of a native plant nursery. We heard a little bit about that at dinner tonight, and it was quite impressive. During a 20-year tenure with the Nature Conservancy in Indiana, Ellen oversaw restoration of the immensely successful Kankakee Sands Preserve, an 8,400-acre prairie and wetland restoration project now home to a herd of American bison. And I forget the conference I was at, but I've seen presentations on that, and it's really impressive. After retiring from TNC, Ellen continues to serve in leadership and advocacy roles with the Indiana Native Plant Society and gets much of the credit for passage of a state law banning the sale of invasive plants in the commercial nursery trade. No small feat. As you can see from a natural area stewardship standpoint, Ellen has made a tremendous impact. Her nominator for this award, Cliff Chapman of the Central Indiana Land Trust, provided insight into Ellen's success when he wrote the following. Ellen possesses 2 superpowers beyond technical expertise and leadership abilities. These are 1, a great humility and propensity for encouraging coworkers and colleagues, allowing them to shine and be more successful. And 2, her innate ability to manage hectic situations calmly, rising above difficulties, keeping the long-range goal in mind. It's now my great pleasure to introduce you to NAA's 2022 Carl N. Becker Stewardship Award, Ellen Jacquart. Ellen, come on up, please.
Thank you so much. This is absolutely overwhelming. When I first got the call telling me that I was going to be receiving this incredible honor, I wasn't sure they had the number right or the name, and it just, I mean, Roger Becker is a conservation hero, and to receive this award means a lot for someone whose life was really stewardship in my career. And I want to thank the Natural Areas Association, the awards committee, for choosing me. It puts me in the company of so many friends and colleagues who have received this in the past, and it's hard to believe that I've been put in their company. So thank you so much. When I heard about this, it made me think back, sort of the prism that was mentioned earlier of like, where did this come from? How did I get to this place in my life and receiving this? And it all came down to one really fortunate coincidence. I had a friend named Art Spingarn, and some of you folks here remember Art. He was my friend in graduate school. He graduated from University of Wisconsin a year before I did. And he was out in the great world, and he landed a job, a real permanent full-time job, the kind we all looked for. And I was doing sort of like little internships that were not great once I graduated. And we kept in touch, and he kept telling me the things he was doing. And it sounded amazing. He was doing prescribed fires, and he was doing rare plant inventories, and he was assessing natural areas, and he was stomping through bogs. And the more I heard, the more I said, I want to do what you're doing. What is your job? I work for the Natural Heritage Program in Indiana and the Division of Nature Preserves and where it is housed. And I said, how do I get that job? And he said, well, I was just talking to my boss today, and we need an intern position, entry level, but we need someone to do rare plant inventory in southern Indiana. And he had his boss call me, Jim Aldrich, talk to me for 5 minutes, and he hired me, based largely on Art's recommendation. And the honest truth was, I was fresh out of grad school. I had no skills and no experience. And I couldn't have named 10 common plants of southern Indiana, let alone look for rare plants. I was a physiological ecologist. But they hired me. They hired me based on Art's say-so and my potential. And in that time, 9 months I was with Division of Nature Preserves, I met every single employer that took me through the entirety of my career. I helped on a little research project next to coal mine lands to look for dewatering impacts on a nature preserve. And that led to the Research Institute hiring me when I finished my internship so I could continue it. And I met and worked with the Forest Service folks because they had contracted to nature preserves to create the special areas on the Hoosier National Forest. And so I became the first botanist for the Wayne Hoosier National Forest. And I met the Nature Conservancy, where I spent most of my career doing stewardship. And all because of this little 9-month internship. And so I want to say that for those of you who are early in your career, you're some of the very impressive students that are here tonight, if you get a short-term position, never take it for granted. Get everything out of it that you can. Ask questions. Introduce yourself to everyone. Ask what they do. And you'll find yourself networking your way into the kind of career that I was able to have and really loved. And if you're somebody who gives internships, short-term positions, remember that getting a person in an internship may seem like a minor thing to you, but it can turn someone's whole life around. It sure did for me. And so thank you to all of you. This is just a wonderful honor, and I really appreciate it.